Headphones.
All my I don't give a fuck about the equipment. That's not what the podcast is about.
I was doing the same thing until like the mics were fucking up too much and we were losing episodes, and I was like, you know what, like, and plus trying to go into places like $1 million establishments, like I had to like carry myself a certain way. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to go into the place and not pay and be pressed and shit, right? You know what I mean? Like for me, the lights and all that stuff just made it look like something that even it wasn't that yet. Like we weren't that, but like I put that on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's so funny when they shut down Sneaker Junkies on Newberry Street for me to do a podcast. And I literally have like a webcam. Like they shut down this big ass famous shoe store. And I got the most, I make Smoke Bolger hold the fucking microphone. Like to me, it's kind of part of the bit.
That's what it is.
Kind of like, I'm so happy. We almost started like 30 minutes ago, but I was in a food coma from, what type of pizza was it? South Shore? That
was South Shore bar pizza.
Too many places have types of pizza.
I agree with that.
That's such a niche pizza.
So it's like, yeah, like it's like a baseball fucking stat. They're like, you know, like you have the most home runs like on the third Wednesday after it rained on like a fucking Tuesday or some shit.
Yeah,
you're like,
I do love that.
What the fuck is like?
He got the most hits. Yeah, he got the most hits on his team of dudes named Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. Like some shit. Like, yeah, it was 80 degrees out. And you have the most strikeouts when it's 80 degrees or hotter or some fucking thing. Like, okay. Some dude is like on that shit. He's like home or he's fucking like in the stands. He's taking those numbers. You're gonna burn my couch, and I'm gonna kill you.
You have fucking covers on it. Like,
dude, this couch is extremely expensive. So
I'm just gonna rub it into my pants. I don't give a fuck at this point. I'll just rub the ash into my clothes.
I'm gonna kill him. Anyways,
you have cats that are literally. The cat is literally fucking up your couch.
No, he's not.
Off camera,
dude. I've had these couches for 3 years, and they're still like. These couches too, like I've had people like be like, you know, like some hood flamies, they have like the parlor room.
Yeah.
Like, so I just started sitting out when I was like smoking cigarettes and drinking and shit heavily. Like no one sat on this couch because we'd fuck it up.
Would you put plastic over it?
No, we just, that's why I have the other room in there. You know, I have well, that's what it is. All the art room and shit.
So I don't have my own place yet. So it's so funny. People get so connected to their couches.
Okay.
It's something I realized of going over like a bunch of places, houses, and usually setting up on couches. People are very like, a couch means a lot to somebody.
Well, they're expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it comes down. So what happens is when you start getting your shit together and you get older or whatever, right, and you start having all your own shit, you realize that this couch is $3,000. Mm-hmm. Do you have $3,000 if you fuck my couch up?
No, hell no.
Okay, so whose problem is that?
No, you shouldn't invite some sloppy. That's your problem.
That's my problem.
It's like the car, you know, like your first car, you fuck that shit up. You're slamming on brakes. You're like, and then you're like, oh shit, this all costs money.
Costs money. Yeah. Like, you know, when you have your friends over and they're drinking and they're rolling around your floor and they're kicking your walls and shit. You're like, bro, like this is like my stuff. Mm-hmm. This isn't like my parents are gonna come home and clean this up later. Like this is my stuff.
Yeah. And it seemed like the night, like I grew up in a like on Cape Cod. I grew up on Cape Cod, so there was a lot of here's a lighter.
I got one right there. I saw that.
So there was a lot of like really nice houses, and I didn't grow up like that. But the nicer the house the party was at, the more people wanted to like fuck it up.
Oh yeah, that's another, like we used to, I don't even want to, Jesus, the shit that we do to people's house, like we did shit like that. Like,
I want to hear that. Yeah. Statute of limitations is over.
Nah, it's not good shit. Like I never did. People would steal a lot of shit. People like it was the stuff that you would do when you were like a kid, or not even a kid, like you know, in those years before, like you just kind of held self accountability and stuff like that. That you would just never in a million years, like throwing a snowball at a car that's driving by or something like that. Like you all did that shit as kids. Like you think about that now, you're like, bro, what the fuck was like wrong with me? Like imagine someone doing that to your mom.
Yeah.
Like it makes you sad inside even saying that. You know what I mean? Like, because you know how scary that is. But you do these stupid things that you're not thinking about this kind of shit. You're throwing a rock at somebody or something. You don't fucking think like.
You see those prank videos that are going viral of like going up to behind people in a store and playing tuba and shit. And it's like, if someone did that, like say I'm at the grocery store with my like mom or my grandmother and someone does that for a prank video, I'd want to beat his ass with that tuba. Like, it's not funny. Like, that shit's not funny to me.
None of that shit's funny. I think those things are kind of going out of style now. I mean, I haven't really watched that stuff in a while, but I think that people are more on the, like, it's like these trends come in circles. Like, you become like the biggest asshole, then it gets pussified, then it becomes the biggest asshole and gets pussified again. Yeah. Like, we're starting to be on a back trend of the pussification shit. Like, everyone offended about everything. It's starting to come this way again. Like, the 90s are coming back. In the 90s, you could do fucking anything. Like, no one gave a fuck about anything in the fucking 90s. It was wild. You see everything was extreme. And it was just no holds barred, fucking just balls to the fucking wall. And then everything became...
Yeah, but think about being a kid in like the 1810s or 1890s. Like, that's...
There was no kids then.
You just came out in a
came out
in a suit with like
a fucking hat, like a fucking like suspenders.
They're like butcher. They stamp it on your forehead, dude, and you go to work.
Those fucking outfits, they had like fucking like nine like a dickie on, and then like fucking suspenders and a shirt, then an undershirt, then like a fucking like a pea coat, and a fucking petticoat, and a fucking real coat, then like it just fuck all that. Yeah,
you would have kids. Just so like you couldn't need extra work.
No, that was
you wouldn't hire someone. You're like, all right.
No, honestly, that was why people had families like that. People had because you fucking need.
Imagine every time you needed an employee, you had to had to have a baby.
It's like, hey Mary, we got way too much farming to do next year. What do we gotta do? We gotta make another fucking person. Fuck this.
That would be horrible.
Well, it's kind of funny though if you think about it in that aspect of like the commodity of life, how the value of it's changed. Like, because now that's like a disadvantage. It's like, now we got too many fucking people. We don't got enough room for all these fucking people. Like, how are we going to afford all this shit? Before, it's like, we can't eat because we have more fucking people, you know? It's just a weird...
Well, it's funny because, like, I do agree that overpopulation, but it's like overpopulation in areas. Because then, like, you go to certain places...
Relax, Bill Gates. No one's talking about overpopulation.
Did you say there's a lot of people? There are, but they're in... I was just talking to a friend about this, like China, how China has super populated cities, but then most of the country has no infrastructure.
Because it's like uninhabitable, like desert and mountains and shit.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was saying the Bill Gates thing because it's a joke, because people, like, I used to be a comedian, but like people say shit like they're trying to control population and stuff like that.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
But what they're not understanding is the fact that, like what you're saying, there's places that in the world that, like, the death rate is really low, or high. So what happens is babies are born and they die in their infancy. So you don't have any kids to do your farming and shit like that. So what you got to do is have
more
20
kids.
Pregnancies, and then sometimes 10 of them stick. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
that's a real. That's a real. They should put DraftKings on those women. I'm gonna start placing bets. How many of them are good? What's the over under?
Isn't that kind of like that Madonna Brad Pitt shit?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like it's kind of like it's not that different from
How
that.
old were you when you got fucked up for the first time?
I didn't drink alcohol until I was after high school, probably like 19.
Oh, wow.
I graduated at 17. No, 18, because when my girlfriend started going to college is when I started drinking at her college. I played basketball and shit. I was into sports and stuff, so I did that. Weed, I started smoking probably when I was like 13, 14.
The reason I ask is, all right, say you see like a 13-year-old and you're like, shit, the shit I was doing, that's like a child. Like, you see them as like, that's like a child.
Yeah, but we get into who the fuck I am. And like at 13, I was already like almost moved out of my house. I had already had multiple jobs. I was already like taking care of my little sister. I was already an adult by 10. You know what I mean? Like, I already, there was no child. I wasn't one of these 19, 18 kids with fucking, come out like that, but it wasn't far behind that. So it's like I was already on that shit. And so when people like my girlfriend and shit, we talk about her daughter's 15, and I'm like, by the time I'm 15, I have my own fucking apartment. And she's like, that's fucking crazy. Like, yeah, I had like some other woman sign for, but I went to school. I lived in Abington, went to school in Weymouth and shit. Like, I was already out there.
Yeah.
So when I think about this, I got 13 or 12. I was already riding my bike like 2 miles to like the center of Weymouth. And then when I realized you get on a bus there, I get on a bus at like 10, 11, and I would go to fucking Quincy, which is another fucking town over, on a fucking MBTA bus, which is insane. And then I'd be running around Quincy Center, which is the place that I didn't know anybody or didn't know anything, at like 10, 11, 12 years old. And then fucking from there, I figured there was a train station at Quincy Center. So I started getting on the fucking train. Now I'm at 14. I'm in downtown fucking Boston. Like, which is, to get there from my house takes 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
On 3 different modes of transportation.
Yeah.
And I'm figuring that shit out at 11.
That is wild.
So like, but I didn't know that was wild until I got.
Did you have like a time when you felt like a child, or you were just always like?
No. And that's something I didn't realize until I grew up. Like, until I physically got older. And even now I look back and I realize how crazy that was. Because it didn't seem crazy for me at the time. It was just survival. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, when I look at other kids and like I see like a 12-year-old and shit, and we talk, like I'll talk with an adult about a 12-year-old kid, like, oh, they're learning to like do this, and I'm like, holy shit, like at 12 I was, oh fuck, the things I was doing already, like. But in a way, I couldn't be who I am now if I didn't have. I have a lot of experience. I've been getting experience since I've been a young child. I have the young veteran is tattooed on my back. The young, because I grew up early. Like it says the young stress, the young veteran on my back. And I got that when I was young. I was already like old when I was young because I had already lived a lot of shit. And I'm not even saying that for like merit. Because people say shit like that for like, yeah, I lived like that. Nah, like it's sad. When I talk about that with other adults now, I realize how sad it is. Mm-hmm. They're like, nah, I didn't have a childhood. I didn't feel like I was loved or protected or safe. None of that. I didn't know what family was. Like I'm adopted too. You know what I'm saying? I found out my father wasn't my father at 14 years old. My mother's my mother, but I found out the father, the guy I was calling dad, my last name, was not my father. I found out at 14. So it's like, and after that, I was never back there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I graduated high school, like with A's, like honors, but didn't live in the town that I went to school in. I was hustling. You know what I'm saying? Like selling weed, fucking paying my bill, like all that stupid shit, like early. You know what I mean? Like way too fucking early.
Do you know why they kept that from you?
Because my mother, selfish reasons. Not because. What
were you saying?
What you realize when you look into things and when you're older and you go through things, you realize that people use shit as excuses. I'm protecting you. No, you're not. You're protecting you. And that's why. There's nothing besides selfishness.
Yeah.
Which is also sad.
Yeah.
You know, but the truth isn't always happy.
But that is something about getting older. It's just realizing some people are just stuck at a developmental age. They never got past. They're just fucking up. They never got to the point where they became self-reflective.
Well, you say it like they never got to the point, like you're talking in a weird tense. Because you can always tomorrow or today, right now. Mm-hmm. You can always. So it's never getting to or they didn't get to the point. I look at it more as they don't want to. Because inside we all know. I don't care if you're good at it or bad at it. You fucking know. Even in the depths of my addiction and my to alcohol and cigarettes and just fucking off in general, like I knew it wasn't right. Even when I was doing good and with hot chicks and with money and travel, even when all that, I fucking knew it wasn't right. And if I was telling you otherwise, I'm lying.
Yeah.
And I think that's everybody. And I think everybody just lies to themselves all the time, all this shit. And if we just start just being open and free with ourselves, that's what changed me. You know what I mean? Am I losing you there? Or
No, you are. You aren't losing me, because that's the thing. I'll tell a story I told earlier about doing a show up in Maine, and someone in the audience that I didn't expect to like me came up and said, "I like you because you are who you are." Mm-hmm. And for someone who I never thought would like me to see that, it doesn't matter who you are as long as you're being authentic yourself. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, even me, you get fucked up and you get to try to like run from that, because it's easier to do that than to like deal with who you are.
It's always easier. It's always easier to do nothing, but it's always more satisfying to do hard shit. Mm-hmm. There is something to that. I don't want to say I enjoy doing difficult things, because that isn't accurate. But I'm not someone who shies from difficult shit. Like when you ask me if this makes me nervous, that makes me nervous, blah, blah, blah. I told you some of the shit I do. You're like, yeah, this is fucking like a walk in the... I've had spine surgery. I've been in jail. Like you know what I mean? Like you throw it at me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I just told you I've been out of my house since 14. Like, you know what I mean? So life just is. And what we need to realize is that we're all just fucking humans. And once you start taking accountability and telling yourself just the fucking truth, you can do all of these fucking things.
Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? A man. I can honestly say that I'm at a point in my life that everyone's, I'm a man. I'm a fucking man. Like I fucking know I'm a protector. I'm a leader, a father, a man. You know, I stand on my two. And like I've built what I've built. This is me. You see where I come from? Nothing. Like legit nothing. And I have things now. That was hard work put into that. That's what I like. I like who the fuck I am now. Like I put a lot of work into it. And I like that work. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy just looking at who I was and seeing who I want to be a role model. Like I want to inspire. Like I want to use my story of like all the shit that I've come from, all that nasty, gross, terrible shit that you should be a drug addict or dead or in jail or some other shit. But now you're out here shining light and helping people and fucking and showing, inspiring, and like that's what I strive to be. And like so at this point, I think I'm pretty much on that fucking way.
Do you think anyone is fully lost? Like
I think fully lost.
Like they'll never be able to find their path.
No. Unfortunately, there are people that I think no answer is universal, first of all. But I think that work is something that a lot of people don't want to do. And I think anybody could have a moment where they might, that switch might flip, but there's also a lot of shit that can kill you with one flip. So will that flip happen before the other flip does? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've seen people go a long way and then it flip and turn on and them do fine. And I've seen it the other way too. So do I think anyone's completely lost? No. But I think we're all a little lost. I think that's more accurate. All of us. I don't think any of us are found. We're all just different shades of lost. That sounds almost too negative, but you get the sentiment I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think anyone's complete. I don't think anyone's figured it out yet. I think we're all just in the river fucking floating around, just trying to, like, the more of us that attach each other and build a raft, the better we are.
Yeah. You asked me who I like. Who do you like idolize in the way that you would want to live their life?
By my long pause.
Take your time. I don't give a fuck.
No, it's like,
think about it. I hate that like quick answer shit. It's like,
no, but it's not even. I'm honest. I don't have somebody that I don't have like a celebrity crush. I don't have like a celebrity. I've never had that. I'm trying to even think of my life. It's like famous wise, I would think about someone along the lines of like MLK or something like that. that's like what I would strive to be. Like mindset wise, and you like almost laughed at that, but like no,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's okay.
I just thought that I could cut that as a hilarious clip, and I never would. I never would.
No, it's cool, but in the way of like I want to form the community, like in that kind of way, and like stand for like that kind of honor and shit. But like people in my life, it would be people like, honestly, it's gonna sound crazy, but like people like the guy that just walked in here, people even like you. People even like looking at me in the mirror, like people that put in the fucking work. And like, I know what hard work is. I've done it the other way. I've done it a lot of different ways. And the honest hard work, like the grind, people that do that shit, people I fuck with.
You know how you watch videos online, like whatever it is, like TikToks or Reels or even videos on YouTube, and it's people doing shit that you don't care anything about. Like it'll be a dude like building a fucking bench or some shit. Like I don't give a fuck about that, but you can tell that he's like so passionate about it.
So you do give a fuck about it.
You give a fuck about their passion.
Yes.
And I like that. Like it doesn't really matter what you're doing.
No. Well, that goes back to the whole everything is art. Like people are like, oh, food's art. Yeah, everything is art. Like even putting together a dinner, even like fucking just like doing the spreadsheet the right way. Doing every single thing that you fuck with and are passionate about is art. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you can paint a Mona Lisa with fucking anything. You know, whether I don't give a fuck if you're at McDonald's and you're working the cash register. You ever been in the McDonald's or some shit and someone's working that fucking register and you're like, this motherfucker, like you see it. You're like, that person's doing some shit. Like it's art. You know what I mean? It's always there, man.
Yeah, if you're passionate about it.
Or this spinning one of those signs or some shit. There's some people that are out there, but there's some people, man. You get to that corner and you're like, look at like this motherfucker must have some crazy problem in their life with some drugs or some shit because this person's way too talented to be on this fucking corner spinning the sign. Well, once you know a lot of people with drug problems, you spend a lot of time in a lot of corners because of all these fucking things. You see how people get to places. Motherfuckers driving like 10 speed.
You're saying he's on the corner spinning the sign for the just so he can be on the corner?
No, what I'm saying is he had some decisions in his life that probably didn't go the correct way that led him to the job of working for the tax guy that has to have you out there in the suit spinning the fucking sign on the corner.
How do you get good at spinning that sign?
You love it. Like, how do you get
come on. That sign spinning. You have to be really talented to do it.
Yeah.
But how do you pick that up?
I don't know. You go to sign spinners class. You like watch it. I bet you there's YouTube videos on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. How to spin a sign.
Well, like, on some real shit. Because like,
did you ever have a job when you?
No, hold on. So the people that do that shit, right? Let's break this down. Let's critically break this down. All right, as a critical thinker here, let's see how the brain works. The people that spin signs, right? What kind of people do you think have to have jobs that spin signs? Because it's a demeaning, humiliating job. You're on the corner and everyone can see that you're out in the cold or the hot or whatever, in the weather and the elements, spinning a fucking sign, probably making like $7 a fucking hour in donuts or some shit like that. And it's just a job that nobody fucking wants. The person who has that job doesn't have a car. They're getting to work either by walking or they're whatever. So follow me through. So that person's spinning that sign, right? Crackheads, right? When you get a little bit of, you're going to be the best sign spinner. If you're a crackhead, right, and you're out there, you're getting like, because think about these places that have spinning signs and shit.
Wait, are all the sign spinners crackheads?
Not all of them, but I mean,
how you can't be on crack spinning signs,
bro.
You said to break this down critically. Yeah. I'm breaking it down critically.
The only way.
If you're on crack, you can't be fucking like give a crackhead a yo-yo. He ain't gonna know how to do it. No,
you're wrong. So you're out in Fitchburg, bro. You ain't like in Brockton and shit.
Yeah.
Like so like you're
Brockton crackheads know how to yo-yo. Is that what you're saying?
Bro, I'm trying to, yeah. If you, there are places that you can go, homie, that if whatever the fuck you want, whatever the fuck it is that you want the Timberlands with the fucking green tongue and the fucking brown thing with the orange spot on it, you go to this motherfucking corner and you be like, here's $100. Somehow, in an hour and a half, meet me back here. That motherfucker has the Timberlands. They don't even make these fucking things.
Yeah.
So like they're very resourceful people. And why I say now why? So when you're like fighting for crumbs out there, they're competitive motherfuckers too, bro. Like, you're learning how to spin that sign.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you're like, your mentality is that. Like, you're like, man, because you even have the mentality of like, yeah, I'm an ill sign spinner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm out here making this motherfucking money. Like, it's a city.
All right, you wake up tomorrow. And you
Hope so.
can either spin signs super well or yo-yo super well. Which one are you picking?
I think you can make more money off yo-yoing. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you have a crazy talent, like if you're a really good sign spinner, you can go viral on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could, if you were like the number one sign spinner in the world, like you should have like some kind of money.
Art, do you respect those joints that like look like they just look like dumb shit? Like, I don't want to smoke a joint that looks like an AK-47. You know those crazy ass fucking joints.
I'm a Scorpio, so I've rolled the Scorpion one. I can roll the hearts. I can do that shit too.
Can you?
Yeah, I can. I got some in the other room. I'll show you when.
I really do want to see that.
Yeah, well, I got one that's like a big. I had one that was a pipe.
But you're not even smoking them. You just have them in there.
They're in there.
Can you smoke them?
Oh yeah.
They'll burn all right?
Do you want to grab one?
Kinda.
Yeah,
I don't believe you. I want to see this shit. For people who don't know, there are professional joint rollers. Duh. But they're professional joint rollers that roll these crazy ass joints that looks like a whale. They must use like they just look like different objects. You know how you ever watch that show on Netflix, like Is It Cake?
No, you gotta realize these are old.
Yeah, of course.
You gotta realize these are old, right? But these are three of the ones I have. But this is a tulip.
Okay, I have seen the tulip before.
These have been sitting there for like 2 years too. There's the heart. Oh
shit! All right, I like the heart. That's pretty dope.
And here's the money sign. But there used to be another piece to it that my cat ate, and then I had a scorpion as well that my cat ate.
Damn.
Yeah. So I mean, like I can show you the picture of the scorpions and shit. But
I have smoked a tulip before. The heart is.
And I had one that was like a fucking pipe. It was like a.
How do you light the heart?
In the top here, but what happens when you light it? These pop out, so then you have 3 joints, and you're smoking like.
Oh, you light it. And
it pops out, yeah. So you get the one in the middle. This is all really old sour diesel too. It's like fucking like land race sour diesel, like the weed that's in there. That like I used to get a lot of it, and then like I don't get it anymore. And I'm always like, oh, that's some really. It's probably like a fucking good 8. There's some really old sour diesel in there. Like,
yeah, but would that get you high even smoking it?
I'm sure it would. I don't see what it's. I don't know.
Weed doesn't like age like that.
I don't think so. I mean, it does a little bit, but that was some like land race and shit. So it's like, I don't know, like the classics of the class. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to smoke it.
No, those are.
This right here used to had like a round piece that went around it that it hooked into that my cats ate. So what you would do is you would hit this part and like it would smoke through and like the rest of it would get smoked like this.
The Dutch tulip makes the most sense. It makes the most sense.
Yeah, I had like the I'm not gonna go through my thing, but like I'll show you some after ones. The scorpion one was cool, but I think he ate it. My cat, he eats weed. You can't see that I have a cat right there.
Yeah, you're a cat dad. Are you a cat guy over a dog guy?
I'm a cat guy, yeah. Well, I travel a lot. So you can't really have dogs if you travel a lot. Cats, they kind of just take care of themselves. And my cats are kind of obviously self-sufficient.
Yeah, your cats are cute as shit.
Dude, they're handsome, so don't be saying that cute as shit stuff. Thank you.
They're handsome. You don't like your cats being called cute as shit?
No, dude, we're all men over here.
Oh, I lost my joint for a second.
Toxic masculinity, as far as the fucking eye can see.
What's wrong with being cute?
I don't know, but when you are cute, there's nothing wrong with being cute. But when you're a handsome ass motherfucker, you ain't cute.
I don't think handsome when I look at cats. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because you don't understand how debonair these motherfuckers are. And majestic, others don't want up there right now. But when you see them in their light, you're like, all right, these motherfuckers are royal. You
can't dress cats up. I was like, if I saw a cat in a suit, I'd be like, that's a handsome cat right there.
No, I actually had like I'm not gonna go through my phone again, but I have some hoodies and shit with skulls on them and stuff with them in the car, and I used to put leashes on them and bring them out and all that crazy shit. Oh yeah, man. My cats, like you saw, they were trained when I fed them and shit like that. Like they all know their names. They come like, I put time in with these motherfuckers. Like, so I know you're trying to like, yeah, but like it's okay. We'll fuck you up.
No, I'm not.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Don't worry.
Can you sick them up? If someone like you're like and they just all fucking yeah, they all just charge at someone on the door. Attack cats.
You never know, man. There's only one way to find out. If I told you that, I'd have to kill you. You know.
If you could have any animal as a pet and it wouldn't kill you. What would it be?
I mean, I would. My cat's a dope, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
You can
like,
have an extra animal with the cat.
Nah, like I wasn't really an animal person like that. These are my first cat, Omar, that you've seen in there. He's like my first pet. Like I was never a pet. That wasn't like because growing up, it wasn't something that like pets weren't. Yeah. Like we didn't have those. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is all my first shit with these, but like. I never like wanted snakes. I never wanted like horses, or giraffes, hippopotamus. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'd rather just travel.
Like have a sloth riding your back. That'd be dope as hell.
Nah, man. Like it's cool enough. This dude right here, just put him in a backpack. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like the move right here. Like I'm actually like I'm content.
All right, this is a weird segue, but a serious question. Do you enjoy like children's movies now, like animated movies?
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
It just made me think of my buddy Van Styles was interviewing Rod Digger, and the first question he asked her was, "What is the biggest problem with being a pedophile?" And that's how we started the interview, and she was like very taken aback, and she's like, he's like sexy ass children, and I was just like,
that's a wild way.
It was, and that's kind of what that just like threw me off a little bit there. Better segue.
I don't like that you took animated movies and went right to pedophile.
Fucking no, I mean they're cool. I mean, there's definitely some good writing in some of these movies. Let's put it that way. I don't know if that's what you're going for right there. There's definitely some.
No, all right. Let me give you some context on why I'm asking, and then you can give your answer. I never really liked childhood movies because when I think of my childhood, I don't think of great time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I've been kind of I was like, you know what? I should just start watching some of these movies, and I'm actually enjoying them, and it's making me feel like I kind of like shied away from like wanting to feel like a kid again sometimes.
Now, what kind of childhood movies do you mean? Like childhood from my childhood? Or
no, I just mean like animated movies. Like
so in my day, my childhood movies weren't animated. Like Goonies and shit like that. Like they didn't have, like there was no Pixar yet. Do you know what I mean? That's like a new thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the sentiment of.
Well, that's what I'm asking and why I mean. So nowadays, I watch Pixar movies and shit. Like not even at the chick, because they're good. Like Toy Story is just a good movie. Like they're just good movies. So like you watch them and like what's the opposite good movie? Like they're good movies.
Yeah.
But like the other way, what you're talking about, the childhood sentiment, like I'd go back and watch stuff like Goonies and shit. Like
you have the Goonies tattoo.
Well, it says Goonies never say die, and it's a bunch of people I know that have passed away that I'll never forget because we never say die. But so shit like that, like those old school stuff like that, like my childhood wasn't like, I know because before what I said, it wasn't like I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know anything different from it. There's not like bad feeling. It's just that like when I compare my like being older and comparing myself to other people's like upbringings, I'm like, oh, my shit was like a lot of stuff is very foreign to me. Like sitting down and having family dinner is super foreign to me. Like fucking like just having family and super foreign to me. Like it's just that kind of shit. So like nostalgia and shit, like all that. I mean, I was free as a kid, so you know what I mean? Like my mother wasn't there. I didn't have a father. My mother wasn't there. So it's like I was into like all the old movies and shit. Like I would say a million movies, don't even know what the fucking names of them are. Like Labyrinth, The Flight of the Navigator, Princess Bride, all that shit. Like I love all that shit. Would I still watch it now? Fuck yeah. I'd roll a joint up and be like, let's watch this shit. You know what I mean? But not for like the childhood nostalgia part of it, just because they're dope movies. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. You've been going and meeting like biological family members?
Yes.
That you had never known about? Or never met?
No, so when I started having my children, I knew that like you need to know things. Like you just want to know things. So I said I found it at 14. I started having kids at like 27. So like 10, 13 years go by between that. My mother was 16 when she had me. It didn't have any clue. Like I said, drugs, alcohol, all this kind of crazy shit. So she didn't like know who the fuck, knew or not knew. I don't know. Whatever the fuck it was. So I kind of got to a point in my life where I had to accept that. And I had to get the fuck over it and just realize I was never going to find that answer out. And I did. And then a couple of years later, 23andMe came out. So for Christmas, I did Ancestry and nothing matched. And then for 23andMe, I did that one afterwards. And 'cause on Ancestry, you get like, I got like 4th cousin, 5th cousin, 7th cousin, 12th cousin. But like, you don't fucking, how the fuck am I going to figure this shit out? I don't know how to do this. On 23andMe, I got first cousin. With my cousin Jocelyn, who was out in Denver, who I just met. That was the last one I just met. But she matched with me, and like I saw her face, like on like the little circle thing for her profile. Said first cousin match, and like my half sister is on that, and she didn't match with my half sister. So that was obviously from my father's side.
Yeah.
And that was the first person I ever saw that looked like me. Like, which was a wild fucking thing. And then it took me about 3 days, and I was sitting in Ronnie, who is my biological father. I was sitting in his kitchen about 3 days later in Florida, on the Panhandle, Destin, Florida. It's where they do spring break and shit. It's by Panama City, by Louisiana, way up on the fucking Panhandle. Beautiful fucking area, paradise. But yeah, but I found that out, and then I found her name, went to social media, found her brother Tyler, who's the coolest shit. Fucking met like we look alike. Found their father's name through an obituary of my grandfather. Found the 3 brothers' names. So there's 3 brothers. I knew one of them was my father because Jocelyn, you know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. Found all the numbers and was on the phone with them the next day. And then I got a plane ticket, flew down to literally like the next day and went to his house, knocked on the fucking door, sat in the fucking house, had spaghetti and meatballs. It was like fucking like Chef Boyardee fucking meatballs. Like it's wild. Like, it was like Chef Boyardee, like meatballs, like those little ones. Yeah. Like it was those. And what the fuck was it? It was it wasn't even spaghetti. It was something else. It was all fucked up. And like the garlic bread was like white bread, and they're not poor people. But the garlic bread was like white bread with like cheese on it, like Wonder Bread with like a slice of like Kraft on it or some shit. It was fucking weird. The whole thing was fucking weird. And but yeah, he was an asshole. We took a DNA test. He is my biological father, and he never talked to me again.
Oh, he was an asshole.
Oh yeah. He's never spoken to me again since then. Never. But so what I did was then he told me.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. But I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry for? I'm sorry. Bro, my story is a dope story. Like I'm here. Like I'm good. I'm good. But thank you. I understand that. But I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm good. From that. Like he told me that he wanted to tell. So you gotta understand, he's been married for 43 years or 44 years. I'm 42.
Did he know about you?
No. There's no reason why he should have known about me. Mm-hmm. Because like what it was he was on a ski trip in New Hampshire. He was 23. My mother was 15. So you could put that 2 together. Yeah. And not only that, he was married. And he's still married to the same woman who picked me up at the airport. Piece of shit. She's a piece of shit too. But regardless. So when I got the test back, I paid for these. It was a weird thing. And first time and only time I've been at Denny's. Fucking Florida Panhandle, taking a paternity test. wild times.
Sponsored by Denny's.
Yeah, well, that's what we talk about, the hard things. You know what I mean? And no, after that shit, he never spoke with me. I've never spoken with him since. Like he wouldn't answer his phone. His wife did a couple times. She's an asshole though. I never asked for anything from these people. So what he asked from me was, he's like, can you just give me a little bit of time to explain to the family and blah, 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 blah. So I was like, I don't want to fuck this relationship up. So I did. I waited 2 fucking years. And then one day I was like, you know what, fuck this. And my cousin lives in New Hampshire. So I hit him up. I'm like, what's up? And I told him, I'm like, you want to meet up? And he's like, fucking right, let's meet up. Went to his house about a month and a half later, because that's the way time worked out. Met him, his father, Mike, and his son, and then his wife and his wife's daughter. From a previous marriage. And and the neighbors and stuff. Like they brought the neighbors over and stuff. It was awesome. It was fucking amazing. And that was the first time I'd ever like seen men that shared the same blood as me and looked like me and shit. There's a picture of us. It was wild. And then from that, I posted a picture on Facebook of that. Like I told a story kind of, and someone commented on that fucking story, and that was my sister, who I didn't even know I had a sister. I have a sister and a brother. It turns out I'm the youngest, not the oldest. In my adopted life, I'm the oldest.
Oh, wow.
But in real life, I'm the youngest. Wild. So once again, because you all these things that people label you as and how you are as a, you know what I mean? And it turns out none of that shit's, you have a fucking Irish flag tattooed on you, but you're Italian. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So someone commented like, who the fuck is that person? Meaning me. But it was my sister. So she lives in Destin, Florida. So I've already been down to Destin, Florida, but he didn't even tell me she existed when I was down there. I have a brother too who has Down syndrome. He's older than me as well. Awesome dude. So then I flew back down. So after I met Tyler and his family, I found out I had a sister, and I booked a trip immediately and flew down to Destin, Florida. Met my 2 nephews, my sister, and then I just got back from Denver. I met I met my aunts in New Hampshire and my cousins up there, the matriarch, all that shit. Learned about a bunch of shit, and spent the holidays with them. First time I've ever spent holidays like not alone in like years, which was dope. And then just really happy, good shit, growth. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that I needed to do to complete myself. And I literally just got back from Denver, probably like a month, 2 months, 2 weeks ago, probably. Meeting the last cousin, Jocelyn, was the first person that I like matched with on the DNA. So I've done the whole loop. And now it's crazy because if you got the sauce, you got the sauce, right? So I put together a family reunion, and I'm getting everyone to fly down to Florida in August. Yeah, how wild is that?
That is wild. Get them all together.
Because they don't get all together. That was driving me crazy. They don't get all together like that. And like, I'm someone who gets people together and shit. And like, I've already stepped into that role.
Are you happy that you reconnected with them?
Oh yeah. Amazing. Yeah. 100%. I needed it. Like, we all have things in our life that are like when like there's a hole in your life. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. Yes, you do. Just you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to.
Your whole family.
One of my holes. And we all have a lot of holes. Like self-help and self-improvement and isn't just a quick fix. It's a constant battle every single fucking day to put effort in to make yourself better every fucking day. Yeah. It's never going to end. It shouldn't anyways. It's because you don't even know what you're doing wrong until you do something new wrong. Right. You know what I mean? And you just got to realize, oh, fuck, okay, that affected some people in some way. Like maybe I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like
taking accountability.
It's not always once I realized that every single thing that happens in my life is my own fault, there is nothing in my life that happens to my life that is not my fault. Even when that thing happened today with the computer that I had no control over, I still take blame for it. Doesn't matter. It was on my watch. It's my thing. Like I have to figure out a way that doesn't happen again.
You ever read Extreme Accountability?
No.
Great book.
Okay.
But it's by Jocko Willink.
Oh, okay. I get. Yeah.
Extreme accountability. That's what it is. Take account, even if it's it's not your fault. Say it is.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because if you can't move forward past something,
I'll bring you even one that's dope. And Jocko's psychopath, crazy, motivational person. But even past that, like anything that happens, you allowed that into your life. Mm-hmm. So not even if it is your fault. It is. Somewhere along the line, you made a bad decision by letting this person or this thing or this action or whatever the fuck it may be. Maybe it wasn't that day, but somewhere along the line, you didn't do the best thing for you. Yeah. And it's your job to do all the fucking, the inventory and go back in time and figure out that person stole from me. Well, why didn't you see that? Why did you trust them? Why did you like what happened in like where were your eyes? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but they hit it so well. So what? Who gives a shit? Your life, your problem. You start thinking that way, a lot more shit gets done. Like it doesn't matter if you did me wrong. I let you. I don't have to let you in my fucking life. I don't have to keep giving you
Why
chances.
did I not read that you were going to do this?
This isn't the first time either, because it never is. So why have I allowed this? How much of myself am I giving up for the satisfaction of others when I can't be pure with myself unless I'm pure with myself? How the fuck am I going to fix anything else if I can't fix my fucking self?
Yeah.
You have to treat yourself as the most important thing, because it is. But once again, it's accountability. You can't just be important. You have to be important. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to fucking, like, it's all serious. Like, this is our lives. Like, this isn't, we don't get another body. We don't get another fucking, like, you don't get to start over again. Like, this is it. Like, you're still young, man. I have survivor's guilt. A lot of people my age do. Which makes me that get out of bed, you're lazy shit even louder. Because I got this too. Still out here though. You know what I mean? Like, because, and there's going to be people that I have to put under that shit too. You know what I mean? Isn't that crazy? Like, it's like you're thinking ahead in time of, I already know who's going to be on that leg. Like, that kind of shit. Like, I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you on camera, but I can tell you who's going to be and watch. Those are the names that will be there. Living with shit like that. But you get to a place, man, where accountability gets you out of this. Because it's you. It's always you. I don't know how else to, it just is. It's always you.
Yeah.
It's never anybody else. It's always you. Every single fucking time.
Yeah. And that goes for good too. Like, I don't know. It's serious in that way, but that's why I like to have fun on this. Like, this is me. This is who I'm doing. I take myself serious, but we talked about this on the last. Like, I enjoy the process and having fun with the process. Does that make sense?
Of course it makes sense. I mean, I think that the reason why you're successful at this is because people know you enjoy it. Like, you're not going to, it's just not, your love, people aren't going to treat you serious unless you, like, they're only going to treat you as serious as you treat yourself. That's the high tide for it. You are going to treat yourself more serious than anyone else in the world is. So that's your high water mark.
Yeah.
So the lower your mark is, the lower everyone else is going to be.
Yeah, it's funny. You were asking me about, like, working with people earlier. And how I feel about it, and how I don't know who it was that explained it to me, but it's a good way to think about it is no one's going to, like, follow your dreams more than you. So you just have to find people who will do it the most that they can. Well, because everyone has their own dreams. So why are they going to live your dream for you? That's why I pull up with no shit. That's why I pull up with nobody, because it's like, no one's going to do this for me unless I'm giving them so much money it's unbelievable to them.
Okay. I think that comes with your inexperience, to be honest with you. I think that you haven't met enough people yet, because you know the old adage of it's better to be number 2 or number 5 at a number 1 company than to be number 1 at a 40 company. There are a lot, like, so that I used to always use the metaphor of Tom Brady has no idea how to kick field goals. He cannot block his blind side. He does not have that skill set. So what you need to do is figure out not people that want to do your dream. Let's suppose your dream is to be on stage. You need to find someone his dream is to hold a camera filming the guy on stage. You need to find someone that their dream is to write about the guy that's on stage. You need to find someone and their dream is to put shows together to have this guy on stage. You find all those people that add to the dream that you're doing, that adds to their dream. Like Chris, when I met Chris, after Chris worked with me for a while, I go, Chris, what did you want to do? Like, Chris is my producer for my podcast.
And you should just plug it.
Yeah, well, the Candy Maniacs podcast is Potheads, Canamaniacs.
This is Chris Tash. Welcome
Yeah,
to the Fucked Up Podcast.
We talked about this. And we're 49 minutes in.
I told you I don't do anything.
My name's Chris Tash. I have a podcast.
He intros people on his podcast. I don't.
And I asked him, I'm like, after we've been working for a little while, I'm like, what is your dream? Like, what do you want to do? And he goes, I want to follow someone around and go meet all the people that do all this weed stuff. I looked at it and I go, so what you're doing right now? He's like, yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like, I'm trying to, like, meanwhile, we're at a point where I think, okay, now it's start recognizing what his dream is because he's working hard for me. So I have to fucking start helping him with his. Turns out his dream is to hold the camera and to follow. He's been looking for someone to follow around. That's worth it. Worth his time, worth him sacrificing his year of not getting paid to follow somebody around. I needed someone with a camera to follow me around. My dream isn't to hold a camera. His dream isn't to be in front of it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
You have to find a team. But remember we were talking earlier, it's hard to find good people because what you find is like, okay, now we need a visual artist. I need someone that does logos. I need someone that does internet work, blah, blah. And you find people that are like, I want to do it. But the first thing they ask is how much money. There is no money right now. None of us are getting paid. As a matter of fact, I'm like 30 grand in the hole, like on this, but that's okay. This is what you do to build the business. But people don't, you have to find good people that see a vision and see what you're doing in the long scale of things. And like, okay, I know how to kick field goals. Can you get us to the 1 yard line? I can run it in. I know how to block from the blind side. I can punch a hole. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can draw up a play. I can fucking get your pads clean. I can fucking make sure the bus is there on time. I can make sure the hotel's ready. I can make sure, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every fucking level of that shit. You need someone that loves to get fucking hotels ready and loves to plan out itinerary for people. There's people that love that shit. That their fucking dream is to do that on a fucking high level. Find those people. They will do it for you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's hard to find good people because you're not even at that stage yet. You're still like a young buck trying to get into the game. You still know, and you're very humble. I don't mean it like this, but you still know your shit, blah, 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 blah. You'll get to a place soon that this won't be adequate anymore. Because not that you want to get rid of it, just that you'll know. You'll be like, yeah, it's just not that it's not working, not that it's not good. You'll be like, yeah, I've outgrown this. And it'll be good. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
totally.
Yeah,
you can't stay stagnant forever. You can't. You plateau at points, but you have to make what works in the means too. That's a big thing. Is like you can change your means, but you have to work as best you can within them.
Well, you always have to, like with Chris was just here, like he's like, yeah, the game sucks though. It's like, yeah, no shit. I don't make the fucking rules, dude. But like we're all aware what the fuck the rules are, right? But
something you say that you like about me is consistency. And the way I stay so consistent is because I realize this is the simplest way to do it at a high capacity. Like this is so easy that I can do it 3 episodes a week because I cut down the amount of steps that I had to do.
But even those 3 steps it's still crazy amounts of work.
100%.
It still 100%. Is. But like, I understand what you're saying. You're not wrong in what you're saying. And it's weird, man. Like age is a weird thing because I was always like, I feel like I was ahead of young veteran. I was ahead of my time. I knew more shit than the older guys did. I was running circles around them when I was younger and stuff like that. Like, so I felt like I was one of those people too. I know everyone feels that way, but there really is something to the age thing. Like when you're 30, it's just different than when you're 25. When you're 35, it's just different than when you're 30. I don't know how to fucking explain it other than it just is a thing for better or for worse. And if you can just take what you're building on now and start here, like you're already starting at where I was 30 at 24. So just multiply that. Now, by the time you're 30, maybe you can 12 it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's definitely still a thing, the age thing. And like that I think about is just experience and like, I understand I can do it on my own, blah, blah, blah. But you'll realize that like to get real, look at the guys you fucking run with and shit. Like that has to be a well-oiled fucking machine watching that thing fucking work. Like, it has to, I can't imagine that guys from where they come from to get to where they are don't have just 40 people fucking moving in unison at all time to make that thing fucking work.
They do, yeah.
And like, that's what I mean. Like, that is like, to get to that though, oh man, we need 50 more fucking, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, step 1 to step 2 takes a lot longer than step 2 to 3. And then 3 to 4, and then 4 to 10, and then 10 to 20 took half the time it took to get to fucking 10. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, you're taking 100 at a time. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just because you built consistency. And I think there's a lot of lesson in that, to be honest with you, that a lot of people don't understand, especially in this let's do it now mentality and age of like, you don't need to be famous tomorrow. And fuck even fame anyways. Like, how about just carving a good fucking living out for you and your family? Like, why do you need to be a fucking, why is it all based on millions of dollars? Like, people are like, oh, you're not a successful recording artist. You don't fucking tour the world. You're not on fucking, what are you talking about? I make $100,000 a fucking year. I work when the fuck I want to. My family, like, what are you talking about? Like, people think that people aren't successful. Like, oh, this guy, he's not a successful art. That guy fucking makes $140,000 a year doing what the fuck he loves. What do? You work at fucking Home Depot. You know what I mean? Like, like, what are you talking about?
But it's way easier to say that than to be like, how did he do that?
He worked. He fucking worked. He drove to 100 fucking places, knocked on 100 fucking doors, and 1,000 fucking emails. Like, he was up all night when everyone else was sleeping. How the fuck did someone make it to the NFL, the NBA? When you were getting ready to go to school and eating cereal, they were running miles. That's how. Forever.
Yeah.
That's like what I said, like with me being a kid, like I was trained that way. I've been trained to be this since I've been 10. Because I had to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, bro, I've been homeless more fucking times. I've been like, I've had it and lost it. I've almost starved to death shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, believe me, like, you name it, I've been there. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm so adamant now, like, with where I'm at. Because, like, I know. You know what I mean? Like, I know. I don't need to pretend like I know what bad is. Like, I know what bad is. You know? It's weird. It's like...
sorry, what was No. I want to hear what you're saying.
Well, I was just the last thing about that. It's like, you understand, like, when you lose a lot of people to death, you understand death better. When, like, I couldn't walk. I had spine surgery. I couldn't walk. Like, I was in the hospital for a month, like, staring at a ceiling. Like, couldn't use my legs. 2 surgeries. I have scars back there. Like, that was 20 years ago, I'd be by a tree. They just left me. You know what I mean? Like, my legs, I'd be in a wheelchair. Like, that's what it would be. So once you go through shit like that, you kind of realize what, you know, how fragile this shit is. And like, you know what I mean? It gives you different, more in-depth perspective on just all of it. You know what I mean? Like what it's really about, you know?
What piece of advice would you give your younger self? Best piece.
If I could tell my younger self anything, it wouldn't even be advice. Hey, you know what? Don't smoke cigarettes. Don't smoke fucking cigarettes. That's some fucking dummy. I spent that's 23 years smoking cigarettes. Don't drink, don't smoke. Drinking's after that, but don't smoke cigarettes. But not only that, man, what I would tell myself isn't even advice. Like, no, definitely a cigarette thing, but I would let myself know that I'm going to still be alive. Because for a long time, like, not like on some tragedy shit, but like, I just didn't see my life projecting in a way that I was going to be okay. Like, no, I remember being like, that cost $1,000. Like, I'm never going to get my license back. Like, I'm never going to get I'm just never going to get it back ever. Never. I'm never going to drive again. I was on the run for 11 years, bro. On the run. Like, a year suspended over my head. Like, I turned my life around so much when I turned myself in. The judge was like, you don't got to go to jail because you've already done it all. Like, for real. Like, I had a year suspended over my head. Like, a year suspended, I don't know if you know what that is. Like, you can't get back time. You got to do the year. Like, the way my probation and my case and I pled out worked, that, like, if I didn't fuck up for 2 years, I could either go to jail or not fuck up for 2 years and have to do nothing. But if I went to jail, I had to go for a year. Not like good time, just a year suspended. You do the whole year. That's the deal. So when I went on the run, if I got caught at any time, I was doing a year, 365 days in jail, period. So eventually I had to turn myself in because I got to a point that I outgrew shit. And I was living here. I had money. I was like, fuck, I had to stop paying tax. I had too much money. I had to get a license. I had to get a car. Fuck am I going to do? I got to turn myself in. Got a lawyer. You met him? You know what I mean? Fucking turned myself into court, and the judge was like, literally, like you've done everything that we would ask you to do. You've already done it all. Like I went in with like 10 people. I had fucking like stacks of letters of people like writing letters for me. Even my lawyer brought my Facebook statuses in. He had a book of my Facebook statuses. Like, cause like I'm helping people. Like I didn't know he was gonna do this. It was just of me like just throughout the year helping people. Shit like that. And the judge was like, you don't have to go to jail.
Wow. 11 years though.
11 years, yeah. 11
you
years.
never thought you'd be able to.
I thought I was just gonna never, ever be in society ever again. I was smart enough to just figure out a way to not get caught ever. That's just that I committed to that 100%, which is fucking crazy
For
now.
11 years.
11 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, over some bullshit too. I don't even want to get into, but over some like bullshit that didn't even matter to the person that did it to me.
Yeah,
didn't even matter to them. Like none of it mattered. Like, but once again, now I can be bitter, and I can be angry, and I can be whatever about the shit, or I can realize that whatever the fuck happened, I put myself in situations to be a dumbass motherfucker. I made it out of it. Now let's take that and let's use it as a teachable moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's when you look at what I've accomplished when I was on the fucking run, when I met you, I was on the run. You didn't know that, huh?
No, that's why.
So the first year, yeah, I was on the run when I met you. The first year that I've known you, I was on the run. Crazy. Yeah, you wouldn't even known it. No one knew it. And I was out living a life.
Same place we are right now.
Crazy. Yeah. And fucking, so I did all that without being able to do anything. So it's like now you see why I do.
Why you have to do everything.
Why I do more, these bigger, more things and stuff. It's because like I just feel like I owe it to myself even. Like this is my role in the community.
Yeah. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, it's like, well, this is what I'm here for. Like, and it's not because I picked it. It's easier for me just to not do any of this shit. I can figure it out without, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's more work to do it this way, but it's satisfying. And that's fucking dope. You know, that's the kind of shit that like, you know, that's the kind of shit that's dope to me, you know?
That's dope as hell, man. And you are doing a lot, and you're accomplishing a lot.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
We didn't even. Now is the right time for you to give what you're doing.
Well, what do you mean? Like what? Like my podcast and stuff? Or
yeah, like where you want, like your promo your shit.
Yeah, I mean,
because I feel like if people listen to what they just heard, that's now they want to see what you're doing.
Well, I mean, I have a podcast called Canamaniacs Podcast. It's on YouTube and Spotify, all that shit right there. But I throw events. You can see more of that stuff. I mean, what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to build a community of dope shit. And I'm like, we'll come back and we'll talk in like a year from today. We'll talk at like we got a bunch of shit coming on and going on anyways. But like, besides that, man, I don't need people. Right now, I'm not really doing much. I'm just a guy out here trying to make a fucking difference. And if people listen to me this long, hopefully they just took some shit in here and they're gonna go out and change a little bit of what the fuck they do. Because I was someone that I was never counted out, probably because of the way I look and the way I talk. But like in my head, I was counted the fuck out. Like there was no redemption for me. Like I was going to like die that way. And like I accepted it. Which is like crazy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like that's the exact opposite of where the fuck I'm at now.
That's not someone I know you as.
Yeah, like and no one knows me like that. That meets me now like that, you know? This is better. This came with sobriety too, to be honest with you. Like I never thought that. I don't know how much. I know your time's coming up, but like I'm not against liquor at all. And I wasn't like a crazy alcoholic, but like you do not need liquor to have fun. That's a weird thing that we have in our society, that people think that like liquor, you need it to have a good time and make memories and do your shit with your boys and all this. And I could honestly say that no one I know now, I bet if we were all sober through all those times, we'd have more fun. We'd all still be here. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
alcohol, and I don't want to be this guy, but like, if you want to be successful, cut that shit the fuck out of your life. Like, just get rid of it. Like, think about all the times you've ever been on alcohol. You've had some fun, I bet. But have you ever gotten, like, you know what I'm saying? Have you ever grown from that experience? You might have got some laughs and shit, but you never, it's like, trust me, like, go back. Because I've looked, and I'm someone who used to bring, the way I roll now with the weed is the way I roll with the alcohol. You know what I'm saying? I bring parties with me. I always have been that way. So we get it. I come and we got the boom, boom. We're coming. We're bringing it in. Let's go. It's not funner that way. It's also funner to be at functions not fucked up. It's crazy, and I don't like. It's weird, dude. It's fucking weird in that way. Like, it's just everything. I mean, I smoke like a motherfucker. I'll take some mushrooms and shit, but like, it's that drug alcohol thing. If you want to be successful, that just isn't the way. It's just not. Like, I don't know how to say it another way. It's successful even like in money wise. I mean, also happiness wise. Like, happy people, this is gonna sound, but happy people don't do that shit. They just don't. Like, I don't know how to explain that either. Like, when you meet people that are truly happy with themselves, they're just people they're people that usually did that shit and then realized, oh shit, this is the shit that I'm hiding from. This isn't even me.
We don't need the escape.
Once you become confident the fuck you are, that's why I didn't say don't drink and that shit. I said you don't need alcohol to have fun. You know what I mean? Because once that's the thing that I think gets everybody. You can still be creative. You can still have fun. Yeah, I think you actually have more fun. And I was worried about not having fun. I was worried about not being creative. I was worried about not being able to get girls. I was worried about not being funny. I was worried about all that shit. Turns out, I'm just a cool person. Like, I've been in rooms with like 5 to 10 people that I used to get fucked up with. All the lives of the party. All the people that are still alive out of these people. And all of us are sober. Or we don't drink. No coke, no drugs, no opiates, none of that shit. Like, just maybe mushrooms and some weed or some shit like that. And I'm looking around going like, we all thought that we needed to be fucked up to have fun. Turns out these are just all ill motherfuckers. They're all just super, because we're having fun right now, all sober as fuck. Like, laughing, having the same exact thing happen that would happen that we were drinking. Yeah. I mean, the same shit. Like, there's literally no difference. Except now you remember it. Yeah. And you're not an asshole. Like, it's just all like just emotion. Like the emotions aren't like, blah. They're more like in check. And like, it's just, and you're looking around going like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I just know a lot of cool people. Like, these are just all cool fucking people that like are smart and funny, intelligent and entertaining people anyways. They didn't need any of that shit. Turns out cocaine didn't make him fun. He was just fun. You know what I mean? Like, like fucking vodka didn't make her beautiful or pretty. She was just beautiful anyways. Like, you just learn a lot of that shit. And I wish that more people knew that. That's what changed me the most. The quickest fix was that. Like, it's a lot of work that goes along with it to get the best result, obviously, but the quickest fix is that. Like, it's so stupid. It's like mind-blowing to me. And in a way that like people would go like, oh, I only drink like once a month. The weird thing is, dude, I understand, but like, if you don't even do that, because I did that for like 4 or 5 months. When you bring that shit away, you add like 4 months in a row with it. It just, this thing, if you're someone that can see a mile away, you can now see around corners. It's bananas. It's like you can see, dude, you see it like, you can smell it raining 2 states away. You know what I mean? Like, you already know it was like, you're calling it by the clock. You're like, you're telling someone on Tuesday what's going to happen on Thursday at 4, and they think you're fucking crazy. And then Thursday at 3:59, you go like this, and they just start laughing because you were right. And that's happening all the fucking time. To the point that other people pointed out, and they're like, dude, how the like, you know what I mean? And like, you get the metaphor I'm going for here. Like, you just always like, you're on top of your shit, and it's drinking, dude. It's just, and that's just, I don't want to get into the whole like thing because I'm not against alcohol, but just if people are motivated by my story at all, just not drinking catapulted that. And it wasn't because like I didn't have a fucking drinking problem at the end of it. It just, there's something about the shit, man.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And everyone that I've seen break through and go on and turn like to real happiness, that's always the same thing too. I don't know how many people you know like that, but it just always ends up being that. Like you end up in the room with the same people. Like usually you go to these parties and shit and like everyone's fucked at these nice places and everyone's all fucked up. And you kind of get to the kitchen area, you get to the back and there's like a whole bunch of people that own the place. You sit down, you say, oh, these nice fucking place, blah, blah, blah. Oh, do you want a shot? I don't drink. None of the people back there drink. Yeah. Oh, you have all these people in your house and that's for them. We're back here doing business. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Because you've seen it. It's just one of those things, man. It's just weird. It's just, if you've seen both sides of it, it's something I just want to fucking hammer home to people that are thinking about this shit. Is like, that's the biggest change that happened in my life. And it was so stupid and small that like, and turns out most people don't really even want to drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this might be a little linchpin from them to not. Man, you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. I'm sure you've gotten some inboxes of people like, you're like, that was an offhanded comment I didn't even think was going to fucking matter, but it did matter to somebody.
It does, yeah. Everything does, yeah.
Yeah, it does. So like, and that's once again taking responsibility for who you are and like what your avatar is in this world. And like what, like some people pick the princess, some people pick Donkey Kong, some people pick Mario, some people pick Luigi. This is what you got. Some of them are fast and take corners well. Some of them are pop. You know what I mean? Like, what's your avatar? What are you good at? Go bring some of that shit to the people. You know, because motherfuckers need it.
Man, thank you so much.
Man, thank you. I appreciate you.
This was dope as hell.
Always, man. You know the deal, man.
Plug your shit before we wrap up.
I am Cat Dad. Potheads right here. CBD Cat Treats. Canamaniac 617 IG. Chris Tash on Facebook. YouTube Canamaniacs. Fuck Kurt Chilling. Sense lives. Marty forever.
Peace out.
Yeah. Hey.